and welcome to Bitesized Podcast. I'm your host, Zandalee. We're certainly kicking off the new year strong with our first long episode. These long episodes are kind of like a 5-course meal, or if you're a Gilmore Girls fan like me, it's kind of like the Bracebridge dinner. Horse carriage ride not included. Today I wanted to cover prenatal vitamins because they really are so important to the health of our pregnancy and as a woman in general. So let's get into it. We'll go over what to look for in a prenatal vitamin, how to pick the right one, and at the end of the episode, I'll give you a discount from my favorite supplement brand. If you're pregnant, thinking about becoming pregnant, or in the process, I highly recommend being on a really good prenatal vitamin because not only should you be taking it about 6 months before you want to get pregnant, but you actually take it throughout your entire pregnancy and into postpartum, especially if you're breastfeeding. If you're already pregnant, congratulations. I'm so glad you're here and I'm sure you're on a prenatal already, so don't skip by this episode because it really does have some valuable information and I want you to double check if the one you're taking is right for you already. I'm sure when you find out you're pregnant, the first thing your doctor tells you is to go to the grocery store and pick the prenatal vitamin off of the shelf. Unfortunately, most grocery stores don't have the best option for prenatal vitamin brands. Unfortunately, you're also probably walking in just looking for the yellow sale tag and picking the cheapest option because they're definitely not cheap. The sad thing is most grocery store options are a really poor choice of prenatal vitamin because they're just not good enough. This might be really hard to hear, especially because your doctor is supposed to be the most trusted person alongside you in this journey. They're supposed to give you all of the knowledge, and I know that they do want what's best for you, but they just don't have the time to educate you on the proper forms, and that is where I come in. There are so many companies out there making prenatal vitamins, and I know you're overwhelmed with options. I don't want a good enough vitamin for you, I want the best option for you. So now you're probably thinking, great, there's a lot of options, but how do I know what to pick? This is a great question. Prenatal vitamins are actually largely unregulated. There is no FDA requirement on what can and can't be labeled as a prenatal vitamin. Some of these vitamins on the market even contain ingredients that are advised against during pregnancy. And I know that this is really hard to hear because you're in a very vulnerable state, often highly emotional, and now you're being told this information, and I know that that's scary, but don't worry, we're gonna figure it out together. So here are some things to look for. I'm sure the first thing your doctor told you is pick one with folic acid. Again, this is actually not what we want, and I'm sure you're like, what? Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but what we do want is folate. Oftentimes people use those terms interchangeably, but that's not the case at all. Folic acid is the synthetic version of folate, and folate is the more bioavailable form of B9 that our body can consume and that can actually cross the placenta when you're pregnant. Sometimes folate is also written as folinic acid or MTHF-5 or just MTHF. I don't know why there's so many options out there that you need to look for, but I just want you to be aware that that is the ideal form that we're looking for, not folic acid. If you do have a prenatal that contains folic acid, the body first has to transform it into folate, into the bioavailable form in order for the body to use it. And you're gonna lose a lot of that nutritional value in the process, and so it's just not gonna be as good for you as an option with folate. So folate is obviously number one. The second thing we're looking for is quality. I really hate to break it to you, but the ones at the grocery store on the shelf are just not it. What we're looking for is whole foods and organic-based ingredients in our prenatal vitamin. That means that each source of the ingredients found in your prenatal has been sourced from a fruit, vegetable, herb, or animal product, hopefully an organic one. When the ingredient is sourced from a whole food form, this would mean that each ingredient is actually in its most bioavailable form for your body. It would mean that a lot less is lost during the conversion to the form that your body actually needs and requires. Alternatively, if it cannot be made from the actual whole food ingredient, it would be made from a high quality form of the specific nutrient. We'll discuss more what this means in another episode later because I don't want to overwhelm you. The next thing we want to look at is actually our daily requirements. Obviously, you know about how many calories the average person is supposed to eat, etc., but there's also a lot more specifics when it comes to how much our body needs of each vitamin, mineral, nutrient, all of those things. And that correlates to our prenatal vitamin. Keep in mind that your prenatal vitamin is not a replacement for consuming a nutritious diet. Always, 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 our first thing that we are looking for to supplement our bodies is whole foods. What our prenatal is actually there for is to help our bodies maintain adequate stores of that nutrient. In the coming months, we will definitely be diving into the requirements for each specific nutrient and how that varies trimester to trimester. But for right now, I just want you reading your label and making sure that your prenatal is up to snuff. So how you're gonna do that is look at each ingredient and see what it says. Beside each, there should be a percentage. So if those percentages are quite low, it's likely that you are not meeting your nutritional need and building up your stores for your baby and your body. So take a look, and there you have it. You find folate. You're like, great, mine has folate. You slide on over and it says 3%. And you're like, oh, what is going on here? So great, it had folate, but it's such a minute amount that is likely not going to impact your body enough to build up and make your body as strong as it can be to carry your baby and have a really healthy pregnancy. There are also some additives to avoid when looking for supplements. These additives can be colorings, binders, fillers, chemicals, sugar, all sorts of things. And rather than giving you a big long list of what to avoid, I'm going to give you the few that are acceptable in a high quality supplement. Firstly, for coloring, there are some natural colorings like carmine and annatto. If you're vegan, you might want to avoid carmine as it is coming from a living creature source. Binders and fillers that are safe are magnesium stearate and stearic acid. So to wrap up that portion, we're looking for folate, we're looking for high quality, we're looking at the daily requirements, and we're looking for safe additives and fillers. Now that we've got that down, now you get to decide what form you want your prenatal in. Because prenatals are not only in pill form, but you can also get a powder, a gummy, a one a day, and obviously the classic pill. While I know we'd all love to be taking our prenatals like we popped Flintstone gummies as kids, that is unfortunately our least desired option. Gummies are probably the worst option for prenatal because it's very likely that they barely contain any of our daily requirements. They're also very high in sugar and additives, which we're trying to avoid. If you hate taking pills, I know that a one a day can seem very tempting, but the reason that this is not a great choice is because to pack the amount of nutrients you need into a prenatal into one pill, it's likely that our body is not going to be able to process all of that, and also it's very unlikely that it's going to contain all of the nutrients we need for the day. One a day pills are also very likely to contain synthetic forms of the nutrients, which, as we discussed, is not ideal. Now, between a powder and a pill, this definitely comes down to preference. Powders are certainly a good option because when you're on a high quality prenatal, you could be taking up to 8 pills a day. This can be very challenging if you're not a great pill taker, and also if you're not great at remembering to take pills, which you might need to take multiple times through the day. Powders would be a great option, especially if you have something that you can mix a powder into every morning, into your coffee, into a smoothie, whatever it may be. That would be a really great way to get it in, and it's a lot less thinking and pretty convenient. Finally, a pill. The nice thing about a pill, I find, is that if you're pretty good at taking them, because you do need to take so many, it's good to split them up throughout the day. So you could take a few in the morning and then a few at lunchtime, just so that your body has the time to digest it. And also, if you are struggling with morning sickness, splitting this up might be good, because we all know morning sickness can actually hit throughout the day. So if you find that pocket where you are the least nauseous, that would be a great time to take the most amount of your prenatal. Now for the part you've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please. I want to talk about my favorite prenatal company, and they're called Needed. Right on their website, you'll see why I love them so much. I said I want what is best for you, and so do they. It says they not only want mamas to survive, but to thrive. Needed recognize that most humans are actually deficient in their nutrient intake, and they actually did a study where in the US, of 97% of the people who took a prenatal vitamin, 95% of them were still deficient in some of their nutrient needs. Needed doesn't want that, and neither do I, which is why I'm really excited to announce that I am a Needed partner. So if you feel like they're the right fit for you, you can use my code Bitesized to get 20% off of your order. Needed offers both a powder and a pill form of the prenatal vitamin, so they've got options for both of those. Something to note though is that none of their prenatals contain iron, which is still a key nutrient that you need, but Your iron needs actually change from trimester to trimester, so this is a great way to actually ensure that you're meeting your iron needs because you can change it throughout, and Needed even has plans for that. As I said, Needed recognizes that your nutrient needs change throughout pregnancy, and they really do cater to that rather than a one-size-fits-all, which I feel like most brands that you probably see on the grocery store shelf do. They also recognize that it takes two to tango. The men's multivitamin not only supports sperm motility, morphology, and count, but also libido and mood, which is very important when you're trying to, anyway. They also offer a supplement called CoQ10. This supplement is for both men and women. It is an antioxidant which supports sperm and egg quality. So if you can't tell, I really do love this company. They're really high quality ingredients and they're women owned and technically kind of like a small business because it's sort of still a startup, and all of the ingredients are high quality and bioavailable. So again, you can use my code Bitesized. It works on any product on their website. If you're not sure what to get, I put my favorite sort of starters up on my website under the resources tab, which you can also check out. If you found this episode helpful, please be sure to leave us a show rating, write us a kind review, and tell all your friends about it. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, all the places at bitesized.podcast. And in case no one has told you today, you do look radishing. See you next week. Bye. Although I am a certified holistic nutrition consultant, I am not yours. It is not specified to you and your health needs. While I strive to provide the most accurate and up-to-date information regarding nutrition, this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not substitute professional medical advice.